working on cleaning out the coop. Lining the bucket up. This is what we got done so far. We do the deep litter method, so this is the first big cleaning since the sisters came out into the coop.
Which was about this time last year.
Which was, yeah, about April, May last year. So.
Why don't you come over here and show your daughter?
Oh, yeah.
That's Hermione.
Hi, Hermione. Are you being a holdout?
Let me grab the bigger one. Might as well show your other daughters.
Oh, let's go see the other daughters. Taking turns going, something's going on in my coop and I can't get in there. That's Ern. There's Lacey going, hey, where'd all the bugs go? There's Eleanor and Blondie. And Rose. Oh, there's Samantha. There's Samantha. She's done being broody. Pamela. And there's ML. Yeah, they're not happy that their coop is being worked on. So he's got the big landscaping rake out now because it makes short work of a larger amount.
I can get to the back better. You tell them why we have our COVID masks on?
Well, when you clean out a coop,
Back
you're supposed to have a mask on because you don't know what kind of bacterium and dust are in there, and you don't want that in your lungs. And we've learned our lesson once with moldy straw and getting it in our lungs and run the risk of farmer's lung.
Okay.
Yep, she's being a holdout. But we think she's so scared she's not gonna move.
Okay.
Oh, time to switch sides of the tractor. Tractor safety, folks. Always tractor safety.
Really?
And there he goes to dump it off to the pile. We're gonna mix it with some cow manure from a friend of ours who has cows. We just have to figure out transport from his farm to ours so we can compost it.
All right, we are done. We got the 3 new bales in here. We were told to just let the sisters distribute it, so we just kind of chuck them in here. Hermione over here has been a trooper the entire time, but she's ready to be done. And we're opening the door right now because the sisters have been pretty much complaining the entire time the door's been closed. So now, of course, that the door's open, nobody wants to come up. Okay, so I'm going to pause it until they come up.
Well, we had one person looking. What do you think of the new bedding? Oh, you're not talking.
All right, we finally found, after about 5 minutes, a couple of volunteers. It's Eleanor and Pamela. Oh, that looks like Blondie. So now instead of the chicken poop smell, now they have nice hemp smell in here. Ain't that right, Hermione? All right, somebody's on the ramp. Who is that, Andrea?
Blondie.
It is Blondie. Okay. So anyway, the sisters are doing their usual. Shocker, they're being chicken.
Well, somebody came up and I got a little clip of them.
So normally it's Rose and ML that are the interested parties, but this time it's Pamela and Eleanor. So, yeah. So the first cooping is done. And so I'm going to take you over and show you where we dumped it off. So let's go over there. Okay, here's our carport. We got a nice 90% sunshade on the side over here to help with rain and sun, to help protect the remaining straw bales that we have. It's not 100%, but you know, 90% is better than nothing. So that should hopefully protect the straw bales long enough for us to actually use them. The sunscreen is not waterproof, but if it does rain on that side, it'll hit it and go down and not go through and hopefully hit the straw. But next to it, here's where I put the hemp bedding. The reason I want it over here is next to it, we're going to have our compost, because we have a friend of ours that has cows and chickens, and he did have pigs until he realized that they were really smelly, and then he got rid of all the pigs. So go figure that pigs are smelly. So he has a whole ton of manure, and when I mean ton, I mean like probably at least a half a dump truck full of manure. So what we're going to do is this pile is going to get moved, and I'm going to put the manure over here, the big manure, because I want it as far away from everything as possible. And then I'm going to use the tractor, start scooping it up, and then put it over here, and then mix it with the hemp bedding. And then when we run out of the hemp bedding, start mixing it with straw and start composting it. And the reason I wanted it over here is I have an Iowa spigot right there, and so I could clean the tractor and such. So all I need is like a 50-foot hose or something, and it'll get over here and we can make sure the compost stays moist. We've tried composting in the past and it has not been successful, and we think we just never let it get wet enough for long enough. So that's what we're going to try now. So best case scenario, we're going to end up with a ton of compost that we can put in the garden for next year. Worst case scenario, we're going to end up with a dump truck full of manure. And so if we're not able to compost it, we're going to put it over into the area that's not tilled, and then we're going to till it in, and then if you don't compost manure, you have to leave it fallow for like 6 to 8 months or something. It's a very long time. And so then that's what we're going to do if we can't compost it. If you can compost it, you can come over and use it immediately. So I want to walk over to the garden real quick. All right, I'm going to walk around the garden real quick. If you see little things flying, those are locusts. We're in the middle of locust season here. As you can see them flying around. And so I'm going through and seeing if they're eating too much of our stuff. And we just had the farmer just cultivated our back 5 acres and the 16 acres next to us. They did that on Friday, and it's Sunday now. And so then all the grasshoppers and locusts that were over there, some of them migrated over to here. And so I want to make sure that they're not going to be eating too much. These are all the Tractor Supply tomatoes, or potatoes. And these are about done. So we're actually going to be harvesting these in the next couple of weeks. Because 2 weeks ago, all the way from this point here, all the way back was full of potato plants. But now the Tractor Supply potatoes are done. All the ones that are still green up there, those are all heirlooms that Andrea had bought online somewhere and got seed potatoes. Here's our beans. Here we've actually been getting beans off of there, even though they look kind of ratty. And just looking around, everything's doing really good. The locusts do not like garlic, so they have not been eating the garlic or the onions, so that's a good thing. And there's an onion that's flopped over. I think Andrea said that if an onion's flopped over, it's ready. So there's another one that's flopped over. So I'll go tell her that. These are Texas white onions. This entire row is nothing but Texas white onions. So I'm going to go up and tell her that a couple of them have flopped over. But everything's doing good. The locusts, these are eggplants here. We planted eggplants in where the beets are because we're going to be harvesting the beets real soon. And then we're going to put eggplants in their place. And since eggplants are nightshade and beets are not, they go good together. Same thing with our peppers over here. All right, now that's a good size onion. I'm hopping over rows here. Here's all of our peppers. The peppers are in the Texas corm row. So the corms that have come up are coming up on the outside because that's where we planted them, and then all the peppers are in the center. So for the most part, the peppers are being left alone, although they are being chewed at a little bit. Here is an onion flower right there. See if I can zoom in on it. There we go. This is Cipinoli onions. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. And then over here is Tomato Alley, where we have the Missouri corms, the garlic corms from my aunt. They're on the sides, and then we have tomatoes going all the way down to almost the end of the row. And so, all right, yeah, see every little thing that's flying right now, those are locusts. But as you can see, both the garlic and the onions are not really being eaten. But what I wanted to show here is here's a couple of onions that have flowered. So let me try to get in close. And so there's an onion flower right there. That's probably about an inch to inch and quarter diameter. So they have a ton of little flowers around them. Let me zoom in. There we go. And so that's getting ready to flower. So supposedly with onions, unlike garlic, you're not supposed to remove the flowers. I also have some scapes out here that we got to get before they start flowering. And there's our long day onions right there. Those are actually doing really well. So we think we're going to start harvesting these in the next few weeks. As my stepmother would say, we have an idea of how we're going to cure these, because both onions and garlic, in order to store them for any length of time, you have to actually cure them. And curing them is a process, which is probably why a lot of people don't do onions and garlic. So let me come over and I'll show you. Okay, here is our chicken tractor. Our chicken tractor just happens to be 16 feet long. And the chicken tractor at the base is 8 feet wide. Well, when we got the chicken tractor, we got a 12 by 16 tarp to go over it. And even though this thing weighs like 600 pounds, yes, a wind is able to move this thing. And so that's why we don't leave the tarp on. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have the tarp go on top of this thing, and then we're going to stick cattle panels inside of this thing and put mesh on top of the cattle panels. We're thinking 1.5 inch square mesh. And then we're going to stick the onions and the garlic on top of the mesh. And then we're going to cut the stems so there's about 8 inches below the mesh. And then we're just going to see how many of them we can fit in here. I think we can get 3 high, being about 16 inches apart. And then on the ends, we're going to have shade sails. So then it blocks the sun and it will block rain coming in, but it'll allow breeze to go through. And so because when they cure, they need to be out of the sun, out of the rain, but they need ventilation. And then so everything where we have our 1/2 inch mesh here, everything from about the 1/2 inch mesh below is going to remain open on all 4 sides. And then on the 2 ends, we'll have the shade sail. So that's a preview of the thought of how we're going to be curing these things. And Tractor Supply this weekend had they had the cattle panels on sale, so we got a bunch of them. The tomatoes, instead of using tomato cages, we're actually going to be using cattle panels for the tomato cage. And then we're going to have tomato cages for curing. So I told Andre about the onions, so she's going out now to get onions.
Do you want to go?
And scapes. Now I'm going to see how the sisters are doing. And then I have to go in.
She's still in the box, but I got her egg.
Okay. Now Hermione's still traumatized. She was in there for over an hour before we came out here. So it's not like she went in there and then we immediately came in. Hermione, you doing okay? Huh? You doing okay? She's like, don't talk to me. And so, all right, so the sisters have been in here a little bit rearranging. So that's good. So we're just going to let them distribute. At least I'll give them something to do. And we have fresh hemp. And for the most part, except for right here, it's been completely dry in here. And we think right here is, we put our little, I called it an eyebrow up a few months ago. And because I was afraid when we were getting driving rain that there was too much rain coming in through here, because you can see the opening right there. And so we were afraid that it was hitting the wall, coming in the wall, and then going into the coop that way. So we have this eyebrow here, which is basically a 2x4 that I cut so it slopes away, because you can see it slope a little bit. And then I went and got some exterior silicone and put that on there. So, all right, are you guys gonna go in and do your work or not? Yeah, because you guys have work to do. Especially you, Lacey. Yeah, that's Lacey right there. She's my clarinet chicken. Most of the time she sounds like a clarinet, especially when she's mad. So, anyway. Alright, I think I'm done rambling. But we've been wanting to do this for a long time. But the garden has been taking precedent. But since we got the straw down and our weeds have gone down probably 98% because of that, then that's been good. So I'm gonna go in. Andrea's harvesting some of the Texas white onions that have flopped over. So this has been a very cool, but it's been a very pretty much nasty day. So if you, I don't know if I showed it on the video or not. Let me zoom in. Okay, that's a tarp right there. And let me zoom back out. Okay, that's a tarp right there. And that's the septic tank for Andrea's mother's. And short version is we've had a hard time getting grass to grow on it. A lot of that's been Andrea's mother's fault, but we have Bermuda grass that you can get in a roll for like 100 square feet. It's not good for an entire yard, but it's good for little areas. So Andrea's mother got 2 of those. And so that's a 8x12 tarp, which is about 100 square feet. And what we're doing is we're putting the tarp over the area for at least 3 weeks. And that's supposed to kill anything that's underneath it. Plus it's supposed to kill any of the seeds or anything. So not only will it kill, is it supposed to kill the weeds, it's supposed to kill the weed seeds too. And so that's a non-herbicide way of doing that. So when we actually get to that point, we'll see if it actually works. And we're gonna have to put another tarp on there too, because that's only about 100 square feet. And they have 2 100-foot rolls, so that's 200 square feet. So anyway, I think I'm done rambling. There's the 16 acres across over there. There's our 5 acres over here. We're hoping they're going to be planting peanuts this year. We're still within the window of getting peanuts planted. The reason why I'm hoping peanuts is, at least on our field, for at least 4 out of the 5 previous years, it's been soybeans here. And the only reason I don't know about the 5th year is I just don't know, but there's a good chance that's probably soybeans too. And so if it's peanuts, it's at least not soybeans. I know they're both in the same family from a crop rotation sense, but peanuts are not soybeans. So because the farmer We know that he does soybeans, we know that he does peanuts, and we know that he does corn. And those are a lot of the major, what I call USDA crops, which are what the big farmers do. So anyway, promise I'm done rambling now. And so let me post this. And then next up is probably either going to be getting our shed reorganized, because it's just a jumbled mess in there right now, or it's getting ready to start harvesting and curing the onions and garlic. So I don't know yet, but I guess we'll find out.